All right, so here's a video to try to hopefully streamline and make simpler the student-led conference process. So first, you should have your student conference slides in your advisory class. There's a couple different ways to find it. One is to go straight into your drive, but I did put this here, right, so that you can just go back to the same spot in advisory, right, where it says student conference slides are here. So once you go here, right, you're going to have your copy is going to be on the right hand side over here. So this is the template, right? Yours is different. And so these are your slides, which hopefully will help you walk through a presentation with your family at home. And so the whole goal with these slides is to communicate to your family how you're doing. They're probably pretty informed with that, right? Because I know like my kids sit 3 feet away from me when I can, and I'm listening in on what their teachers are telling them, and I'm doing homework. And so I know that your family is probably very involved in what you're doing. So this shouldn't be something that's hopefully too stressful. So you'll find your copy of slides, right? Yours is going to be over here. The other way you can find it is to go into Google Drafts or Google Drive and find your draft copy that way, right? If you just search up SLC, I'm going to get a million results, but find your SLC slides that way. And then once you're in there, okay, the whole purpose of a student-led conference is to communicate your progress, your concerns, your achievements, just how you feel about school with your family at home. Now, in normal times, this is pretty meaningful because your family doesn't get to go to school with you every day, all right? And this is a process that we've always used at Bristow, at least as long as I've been here, where the students lead the conference. This is something that you're going to get to do at home. And of course, like I said, it's going to be a little different because you're doing all your learning at home. But you'll just go through and finish this presentation. And so the first slide, right, here is Mrs. Mendoza's suggestion, right? Now, it might be, instead of beautiful mom and handsome dad, it might be wonderful uncle or terrific grandma or whatever. But it's welcome to your family that's going to sit and talk to you and work with you through your student-led conference. Okay, and this conference is a chance to share about it simply your progress from quarter one, right? Your, like I said, it's your achievements, your struggles, your successes, your discoveries, your challenges. It's just a chance to share and just say, hey, this is how school's going. So at the start of your slide presentation, you're going to have academic classes. So you're going to want to go through and check your grades on language arts, right? Filling out your teacher's name, your current grade, the date you checked, and then what are 2 reasons that you earned your grade? Okay, now, just to give you some ideas, if you are getting straight A's, okay, or A's and B's, or you're getting a grade that you're proud of, there should be a positive thing you can say. Okay, there should be something that's good because you earned that grade. I don't just give out A's, right? Miss Mendoza doesn't just give out A's or B's. You had to earn it. So it could end if you're really struggling, like, why did you earn that grade? I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here to the self-evaluation. Look at your self-evaluations, right? If it's something you're struggling with and you're not getting good grades, it's probably a reason you earned that grade, right? Maybe you're not asking questions. If you're doing awesome, then a reason you might have earned that grade is that you are an active listener, right? And you ask a ton of questions. But you're just going to try to communicate honestly about the grade that you earned. Okay. And that's the important thing, honestly. This is not going to, it's not designed to make you feel bad or awful. Everybody has things they can get better at, and everybody has things they do well. And I mean that. There's no exception to that rule. Every single person on the face of the earth has something they're special and good at. Every single person on the face of the earth has something that they're not good at. So you're just going to say, hey, this is why I earned the grade. And then for your sample work, this is where you can provide a link to your Google Drive, to Edpuzzle, to Google Classroom, whatever. The whole concept here is just to kind of share with your family, this is what I do every day. Like I said before, it's a little different because they probably have already seen it. So I don't want you to stress over it. But if there's something cool or exciting that you'd like to share with them, please share it. It's the same for each class, right? So if you don't have social studies, not everybody does, and it's okay if you don't, you would just delete this slide. So you would right click and you'd hit delete slide right here, delete, and you'd move on. And if you do have social studies, you put a work sample, right? It's kind of repetitive. Math, same thing. Okay, same thing. Science, same as social studies. If you don't have it, right click, delete. If you do have it, fill it out. Okay, PE, same thing. Now, you'll notice for PE, there's no work sample, kind of hard to do work sample. Then electives. Okay, band or ISS. If you have band or ISS, you fill it out. If you don't, you delete the slide. Progress report. Okay, now at this point, you've gone through and you've talked about your grades and how you've earned, what you've done to earn them. At this point, you just kind of jot down any questions that you have. This might be a good thing to circle back with if you want to meet and talk to me or Miss Mendoza, if you want to talk to the advisory teacher or Miss Ryan, where it's like, okay, we definitely want to ask about this. Okay, this to me is the most important part of the entire thing because grades are just an end product. Okay, what the important thing is are habits. If you have good habits and straight C's, you're awesome, right? If you have bad habits and straight B's, you have a lot of work to do. So this is our bear's expectation, right? What are we looking for? Well, we want you to be engaged. It means you're asking questions, you're listening, you're doing your work. Respectful student, which I've seen from everybody, right? Everybody just being nice to each other. Responsible, showing up to Zoom on time, doing what you need to complete. And then safe, which in an online environment means, not sharing information that you shouldn't share, practicing that digital citizenship. So engaged, right? The thing we talked about here is that you're going to give yourself a 1, 2, 3, or 4. So a 1 means you never do this. Okay, and I'm an active listener. That would be pretty hard for me to believe that anybody feels like they're a 1. If you're showing up, you're probably listening. But think of 1 being like a major problem. This is a serious issue, right? A 2 sometimes means it's a problem, but I can work on it and I can get better at it. 3 is like, yeah, I'm not perfect, but I'm doing okay. And 4 is that's my strength. This is what I'm really good at, right? Everybody should have at least a 4 in there somewhere, and you probably should have a 2 or a 3 in there somewhere. So I'm an active listener. I start classwork and stay on task without being reminded. I produce quality projects, assignments, and performances. I start work and stay on task to complete homework without being reminded or prompted. I participate positively in class discussions, lessons, and activities. Now, this is one I will tell you that a lot of people, I would love for you to put down an honest answer, but there's a lot of 2s and 3s right now because Zoom is weird. Discussions are awkward. It's not a normal classroom setting. This is something I would love for you to work on, right? Because there are a few people who are 4s, and every time your hand is up, you're willing to participate, you're being brave, right? And there's a lot of people who are very shy and quiet. I follow and or set timelines for projects and meet due dates. Okay, so that's engaged. Respectful. There should be a lot of 4s for this one. I avoid making fun of others, their work, or their ideas. I make positive contributions to the classroom and school. My behavior and attitude demonstrate respect for my instructors and all school personnel. Okay, I've had nothing but positive interactions with students. Okay, you guys are awesome. You're a fantastic group of kids. This is one where I think that if I were giving a grade as a teacher, I could say everybody's a 4 because we haven't had any discipline issues or serious. There's little times where I have to talk to people separately or, hey, don't use the chat for that, but nobody's being disrespectful. So I think all of you are always respectful. My behavior and attitude demonstrate respect for my peers and myself. Again, it's just an honest evaluation. Okay, and only you know how you feel. Right? 1, this is a serious problem. 2, it's a problem, but I'm working on it. 3, yeah, I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not perfect. 4, this is the thing that I'm really good at. Right? Continuing on that evaluation. Responsible. Okay? I ask for help when I need it. Now, this one, okay, you can see that Mrs. Mendoza went through and put in a 1. This is definitely an area I would say a lot of students could probably give themselves a 1 or a 2 because I've not had as many people ask questions. The kids who are doing great are asking questions, and those kids who are really struggling often aren't. I use time effectively and appropriately. I study for tests and quizzes. I keep my parents informed honestly and realistically about my progress. I make appropriate choices and take responsibility for my actions. I'm willing to revise, redo, correct my work. I set goals and follow through with them. I go above and beyond. I accept responsibility for my progress and grades. Okay. And so, again, you're just going to go through and look at all these and give yourself a 1, 2, 3, or 4. We're getting close to the end. We're getting there. Safe. Okay. I consistently follow rules and directions. I deal with problems in a positive way. I know the school-wide behavior expectations and follow them. I consistently follow rules and directions. Okay, so once you've done your self-evaluation, you've talked about your grades, right? Here's the whole point of the conference. Okay, so you're going to go through, you've shared this. Okay, what are your strengths? So here's some examples, right? What's an academic strength? Well, could be math, could be I'm really good at Edpuzzle. I'm a fantastic story writer. I love science lessons. Okay, social behavior. Okay, what are your strengths? Everybody's got stuff they're good at. Organization and time, and then other. What are you good at? Okay, and then where could you improve in these areas? Right? So, and these are suggestions in a template. So you don't have to, everybody's answers are different. Okay, and then at this point, you've had your conference, you've talked it over, you've created all this stuff, and then you've gone through and shared it. Okay, the last step in this, okay, is to go through and just kind of fill this out as a self-reflection thing. I'm not grading this. I'm not sharing it with anybody. Okay, it's just, think of it almost like a journal or a diary entry where it's like, this is for me, so I'm going to write it down that I can reflect on, and then I can reflect on what I'm doing. So as a parent guardian, what do you feel your students' areas of strength? Okay, what do you feel your areas of growth? Okay, and what are 2 goals that you want to work on? Now, again, this is not something that I'm evaluating you for. I'm going to say, oh, that's not a good goal, right? No one should ever tell you what your goals should be. You should set your own. It's just a reflection piece. Okay, and then at the end, okay, you just fill this out. Hey, we did our student-led conference. Now, this is something, of course, you can do at home on your own time. And again, I'm going to dial it all the way back to the beginning, the view from 10,000 feet. The whole point of this is just to get it, a guided conversation around how is school going. Okay, your family is probably super involved, and I appreciate their involvement, and I appreciate students, how hard you're all working. And I know nothing about this is easy. The whole point of this is just to reflect. Now, what I would love for you to do is, if you did sign up for a conference, right, because you're struggling, maybe, if you have a D or an F, I would like to meet with you. Or you have questions or want to check in, you're being successful, but you want to meet. I would love for you to have this finished prior to when we meet, because this is going to take much longer than the 10 minutes that we're going to have to actually talk. And that way, when we come together to meet, I would love to get straight to your questions. Unless I have a concern, I'm just going to say, hey, well, thanks for coming in for your conference. What would you like to ask? What would you like to talk about? And then that way we can really make it around an actual conversation on your concerns rather than, well, let's just talk about the forms. So that's it for a student-led conference. Hopefully that kind of clarifies how to prepare for it, what it is, and to hold it before we meet for an actual conference, so that during the actual conference we can just get down to your actual questions in a conversation. So that's it. I hope that was helpful.